SKT, once you draft the Fiora, any kind of comp with Fiora is a 1-3-1 comp, and it's a split push comp. Fiora is not a great champion in teamfight, but she's one of the best champion in a split push situation. So anytime you draft the Fiora, you are a split push 1-3-1 comp. So without even looking at rest of the champ, just by seeing the Fiora, we know this is going to be a 1-3-1 game from SKT, and it's going to be very reliant on split pushing. On the other hand, for Kingzone, we have Victor, Zac, Caitlyn, Braum. This is a teamfight comp. Kingzone is drafting towards teamfight, drafting towards deft, and winning through deft, which is a very, very normal win condition for Kingzone. Hey, people asking about the draft order. Sorry, I'm not going to check over that. We're just going to go watch the game. I'm curious to see how Silas is going to do versus Theo, though. All right, without further ado, let's get into the game. I think Khan shines the most whenever he's actually put on carry champion, so I'm very interested to see him play. They have to give Khan a lot of resource, though. When you are playing Fiora, it's really bad to play Fiora to not give a resource. And Pawn going Frostfang for the 3rd time in a row. Damn, Pawn just loves this Frostfang thing. Holy. So Khan, one thing that's very unique about Khan is, oh damn, that fucking catch on Faker, or that catch on Cuds by Faker on the Wolf, really nice from him. So one thing that's really funny and kind of special about Khan is he loves talking in 3rd person sometimes. So his first name is Dongha, so he'll be like, Dongha, let's not end this game. We're going to do the carrying. And then Khan will be like, yes, I'm going to do the carry. I trust in you, Dongha. And he's like, yes, I trust in me too. Khan's really funny if you ever watch him stream. He's quite a character. Yeah, you can see Klid hugging top side and taking double golems from Cuds. Faker catching out Cuds. Gives space for Klid to actually counter jungle him a little bit, and which gives Khan space to play aggressive as possible. He is crazy, what the fuck? No, crazy is his sub. Faker good roam on bottom. Oh man, that was so disgusting. Holy shit, can we watch that again? So Klid contesting Cuds. Man, this is the bad thing about picking Zac early. Zac is actually incredibly weak early game for your first 2 clears, and you need a lot of defense. And I think that's why kind of Kingzone took Caitlyn, they took Victor. Victor's not the strongest early game, but he can decently push. Caitlyn can decently push. But there was a timing where Victor was back, and because Faker was able to invade Cuds, like it just turned the game completely. And Caitlyn's not being able to build as much prio, and then Faker hitting that sleep and being able to get the dive. All this is happening because they're able to abuse the Zac. This isn't just off of Faker roaming. This is off of Faker roaming on the Zac and putting the Zac behind, and Klid doing a really good job of constantly contesting Zac on his own camps and putting him in pressure situations. Yeah, Zac is a signature pick for Cuz, but SKT doing a great job of punishing the Zac. Faker playing a little aggressive, getting caught out. And Silas pick is actually kind of troll, because Fiora ult, while it's a strong ult, even if you steal it, it's really hard to take full advantage of it as Silas, because you only have 2 mobility skills. I feel like you can't, like Fiora is able to make great use of her ult because obviously it synergizes with rest of her kit, where I feel like when Silas steals the ult from Fiora, he's not able to make great use of it. Damn, the Zac pick is I feel like the biggest thing that's hindering Kingzone is the Zac pick. And also the Caitlyn pick is kind of troll, because while Caitlyn's a good pick into Israel, if you don't get anything off it, then it becomes a pretty meh pick, even with all the crit changes. SKT, it seems like this is a game where SKT is going to win off of Fiora more so than anything. By drafting Zac, they actually opened up an opportunity for SKT to really abuse them. So King Jun's answer to Fiora late game is engaging on the other side, right, with Zac. But SKT has Israel and Kench. They're not going to be an easy team to engage on. And they're definitely not going to be able to beat the actual Fiora side. So, yeah, it's going to be really rough, I feel like, for King Jun to actually win this game. I don't see how they're going to be able to deal with Fio, and I don't see how they're going to be able to deal with the rest of the team. If you can't deal with the Fiora, you have to be able to start the fight on rest of the team, but they're not able to start the fight on rest of the team either. I just don't understand. If your goal is scaling and having your ADC win, why give up Israel if he will always outdamage your AD? I didn't see how this draft played out, so I think SKT must have taken Israel first pick. So they probably either needed to ban it or they felt like they could play Caitlyn against it. Even if SKT doesn't have Israel, right? Let's say they have a Kai'Sa instead, or let's say they have like a Sivir instead. The game would still look very, very similar. The biggest problem this game, I think, is Zac and how and why SKT is playing Fiora versus a Sylas from blue side. I think those are the two biggest problems. Yeah, they're never going to be able to deal with the Fiora properly. And the 4 side is winning too. So it's really hard for King Jun to actually come back from this. For King Jun to win, they need to either win the 4-on-4 or the 1-on-1 on the Fiora side, but they can't win the 1-on-1 on the Fiora side. He's about to get Flame Horizon. This game is so impossible for him. What champ stopped Fiora from split pushing? You can beat Fiora. If you want to beat Fiora, you have to pick stuff like Chase and beat her early game and constantly snowball on her. Or you can pick other melee carries that have like a okay shot at beating her, stuff like Jax. But Fiora is like the ultimate split pusher later on. Fiora is a lot weaker early game, and if you want to beat Fiora, you do it through early game. Like even Jax versus Fiora isn't guaranteed for the Jax side. Why doesn't anyone play Illaoi? 1v1 melee matchups, can't lose. Illaoi actually it's really burnable to ganks pre-6, and true carry champions beat Illaoi. Irelia beats Illaoi, Fiora beats Illaoi, Jax can beat Illaoi. Illaoi is a great pub stomp champion, but versus coordinated teams and great carry players, Illaoi doesn't do that well. Why isn't Vayne common on pro stage? Because you can get abused so much early game. So what are champions that can get abused early game that are played in pro play? So most notably would be stuff like Israel and Kai'Sa, right? Even if Israel can get abused early game, he's very safe against the abuse, and mid game his mid game his poke is like amazing, right? That's why. Where Vayne has a lot of playmaking, but compared to a champion like Kai'Sa, her playmaking isn't as great. This is what remember what we talked about? The one of King Jun's win condition is actually engaging. So stuff like this needed to happen a lot more, and it needed to happen a lot earlier. But like as this is going on, like it's just fucking ending the game on them. This needed to happen a lot earlier, and this needed to happen before is ending the game on your face. Yeah, they really needed that engage. But it's a Israel Kent, it's not the easiest thing to engage on. Great engage, great job, nothing bad to say about this, but it just happened way too late into the game, and Khan is he's already taken your inhibitor, and he's already on your double Nexus turret. This needed to happen before the game is at this kind of state, but SKT was really good about not giving this engage until this point, and at this point when they gave the engage, the game was already pretty much over due to how much Fiora was able to split push. Con. 동아야, what are you doing? Con's probably sitting there. This is Con. Oh, what are you doing, Con? What are you doing? We need to end the game. We're top lane of SKT. I love Con talking in third person. I think it's incredibly cute. Con finally realizing, okay, maybe we can't just end the game. I'm gonna split push the other lane. How strong do you think LCK is? Watching LPL teams and then watching LCK, I think LCK might have the best team in the world in Griffin, but if it was top 3 team versus top 3 team, LCK would get smashed. LCK I think has the best team, but it's not the best region. Does that make sense? Like if it's 3v3, SK or LCK probably loses. Man. As we're commending like Con this game, right? You guys have to realize this game wasn't just about Con, it was about how much SKT was actually able to abuse the Zac and abuse Cuds. Well, great game to review and good job from SKT.